Story 1. I've been working at K-Korner Books for 2 years now. It's a small, independent bookstore downtown, and I love everything about it. The smell of new books, helping customers find their next great read, and the quiet atmosphere make it the perfect job for a literature major like me. Our return policy is pretty standard. You can return books within 30 days if they're in new condition with the receipt. We're pretty flexible about it too, as long as people aren't trying to return textbooks after the semester ends or romance novels that are clearly worn out from multiple readings. Last Tuesday started like any other day. I was restocking the mystery section when I heard the front door chime. In walked a woman in her 50s wearing oversized sunglasses indoors and carrying a designer purse that probably cost more than my monthly rent. She marched straight to the counter where my coworker was handling returns. Coworker, good morning. How can I help you today? Karen, I need to return this book. I want my money back. She slammed down a copy of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo on the counter. Even from across the store, I could see the book was in terrible condition. Coworker, do you have your receipt? Karen, I don't need a receipt. I bought this book here 2 weeks ago. My coworker picked up the book and started examining it. I walked over to see what was happening because the woman's voice was getting louder. Coworker, ma'am, I can see this book has been heavily used. There's highlighting throughout, the pages are dog-eared, and there appears to be coffee stained on several pages. Karen, so what? I didn't like the ending. That's not my fault. Unfortunately, our return policy requires books to be in new condition. This book shows significant wear and damage. Karen, that's ridiculous. I should get my money back because the book was disappointing. The ending made no sense. Coworker, I understand you didn't enjoy the book, but we can't accept returns on damaged merchandise. It looks like you read the entire thing. Karen, of course I read it. How else would I know I didn't like the ending? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She wanted to return a book she'd completely read and destroyed because she didn't like how the story ended. Ma'am, that's not how book returns work. You can't read an entire book and then return it because you didn't enjoy it. Karen, watch me. I'm a paying customer. The customer is always right. My coworker looked at me with that help me expression. I called for our manager, who came over from the office. Manager, what seems to be the issue here? Karen, these two are refusing to give me a refund for this defective book. Manager, defective. What was wrong with it? Karen, the ending was stupid. I wasted my time reading it. The manager picked up the book and flipped through the pages. Yellow highlighter marks covered almost every page. Corners were folded down to mark favorite passages, and there was definitely a brown coffee ring stain on the back cover. Manager, ma'am, this book has been thoroughly read and damaged. We cannot accept it as a return. Karen, this is theft. You sold me a bad product. Manager, the book wasn't defective. You simply didn't enjoy the story, which is not grounds for a return. Karen, fine. If you won't give me my money back, I'll just take a new copy. She grabbed a fresh copy of the same book from our display table. Manager, ma'am, you cannot take merchandise without paying for it. Karen, I already paid for it. I'm just exchanging damaged goods for working goods. Manager, that's not how this works. Please put the book back. Karen, no, I'm taking what I deserve. She started walking toward the door with the new book clutched in her hand. Manager, ma'am, if you leave with that book, I'll have to call the police for shoplifting. Karen, call them. I'll tell them how you're stealing from customers. Manager, I'm asking you one more time to put the book back and leave the store. Karen, I'm not leaving without my refund or this new book. The manager pulled out his phone and started dialing. Manager, hello, police? I need to report an attempted shoplifting at K-Korner Books on Main Street. Karen's face went white when she realized he was actually calling the cops. Karen, fine, keep your stupid book. She threw the new copy on the floor and stomped on it. Karen, there, now it's damaged too. Give me a refund for both of them. Manager, ma'am, you just destroyed store property. I want you out of my store immediately, and you're banned from returning. Karen, you can't ban me. This is a public place. Manager, this is a private business, and I absolutely can ban you. Leave now, or wait for the police to escort you out. Other customers had stopped browsing to watch the scene unfold. A few people were recording with their phones. Customer 1, just leave already. Some of us actually want to shop. Customer 2, imagine being that entitled over a book. Karen looked around at all the disapproving faces staring at her. Karen, you're all against me. This whole place is a scam. She grabbed the original damaged book off the counter. Karen, I'm taking this with me since I paid for it. Manager, go ahead, and don't come back. Karen stormed out, slamming the door so hard that our book display wobbled. The manager turned to address the other customers. Manager, sorry about that disturbance, everyone. Let me know if you need help finding anything. Customer 1, don't apologize. That was the best entertainment we've had all week. My coworker picked up the book Karen had thrown and stomped on. Surprisingly, it wasn't too damaged. Coworker, well, at least she only scuffed the cover a little. Manager, add it to our damaged goods pile. We'll sell it at a discount. Me, I can't believe she thought she could get a refund after reading and destroying the entire book. Manager, 20 years in retail, and people still surprise me with their entitlement. The rest of the day was peaceful. We even had several customers comment about how well we handled the situation. One regular customer bought an extra book just to support us after witnessing Karen's tantrum. I never saw her again, which was perfectly fine with everyone. Story 2. I've been working at Sudsy Joe's car wash for 3 years now, and I thought I'd seen every type of difficult customer. Boy, was I wrong. Let me start with some background. Sudsy Joe's is one of those automated car washes where you drive through and the machines do all the work. We're located on the busy side of town, right next to a shopping center, so we get pretty heavy traffic, especially on weekends. My job is to help customers select their wash packages, handle payments for those who want to pay cash, and make sure the line moves smoothly. The way our system works is simple. There's one entrance lane that leads to the automated bay. Cars line up single file, wait their turn, and go through one at a time. We have clear signs showing where to wait and arrows painted on the ground. It's not rocket science. This past Saturday was particularly busy. Spring cleaning season always brings out more customers, and we had a steady line of about 4 or 5 cars waiting at any given time. Everything was running smoothly until around 2 p.m. I was helping an elderly gentleman select his wash package when I heard shouting from the entrance. A large white SUV had just pulled in, but instead of getting in line behind the 3 cars that were already waiting, the driver had cut straight to the front and positioned her vehicle right at the entrance to the wash bay. The problem was, there was already a car going through the wash cycle, so now we had this SUV blocking the entrance while a blue sedan that had been waiting patiently was stuck behind her, along with 2 other cars. I walked over to sort things out. The woman in the SUV had her window down and was yelling at the car in front of her. Karen, come on, hurry up. Some of us have places to be. The driver of the blue sedan got out of his car and approached her window. Driver, excuse me, but there's a line here. I was waiting before you arrived. Karen, I don't see any line. First come, first served. Driver, ma'am, I've been waiting here for 10 minutes, so have the cars behind me. Karen, well, I'm here now, and my car is in front of yours, so I'm going first. I stepped in before things could escalate further. Me, ma'am, I'm the attendant here. There is definitely a line system. These customers were here first, and they need to go through in order. Karen, are you kidding me? This is 2024. I don't have time to wait in some imaginary line. I need my car washed now. Me, I understand you're in a hurry, but everyone here is waiting their turn. If you could just back up and get behind the last car, you'll be through in about 15 minutes. Karen, 15 minutes? Absolutely not. I'm not moving. Me, ma'am, you're blocking the entrance. The car currently in the wash can't exit, and no one else can go through. Karen, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. At this point, the car that was going through the wash cycle had finished, but couldn't exit because Karen's SUV was blocking the way out. The driver was stuck inside the bay, honking to try to get her attention. Me, ma'am, you need to move your vehicle immediately. You're blocking the exit now too. Karen, I told you, I'm not moving until I get my car washed. She reached over and put her SUV in park. Then, to my complete shock, she laid on her horn and just held it down. Hoo-onk. The sound was deafening. Other customers started covering their ears. The driver trapped in the wash bay was honking back. It was chaos. Hoo-onk. I tried talking to her again, but she couldn't hear me over her own horn, and even if she could, she was clearly not interested in listening. The blue sedan driver was getting frustrated. Driver, this is insane. Call the police. So I did. I went back to our office and called the non-emergency line, explaining that we had a customer who was blocking our car wash and refusing to move. Hoo-onk. Karen kept her hand on that horn for a full 8 minutes until Officer Martinez arrived. The sound echoed off the buildings around us, and I could see people in the shopping center parking lot looking over to see what was happening. Officer Martinez got out of his patrol car and walked straight to Karen's window. She finally let up on the horn. Officer Martinez, ma'am, I need you to turn off your vehicle and step out. Karen, officer, thank goodness you're here. These people are trying to make me wait in some fake line when I got here first. Officer Martinez, ma'am, you're blocking traffic and creating a public disturbance. I need you to move your vehicle immediately. Karen, I'm not moving until I get my car washed. I'm the customer here. Officer Martinez, ma'am, you're trespassing on private property and refusing to follow the business owner's instructions. You have 2 choices. Move your vehicle now, or I'll arrest you for disorderly conduct and have it towed. Karen, this is discrimination. I'm going to sue everyone. Officer Martinez, ma'am, this is your final warning. Karen looked around at all the people staring at her, probably realizing for the first time how ridiculous she looked. She got back in her SUV and slammed the door. Karen, fine, but I'm never coming back to this dump. She reversed aggressively, nearly hitting the blue sedan, and peeled out of the parking lot. Officer Martinez stayed for a few minutes to make sure everything was back to normal. The trapped customer finally got out of the wash bay, and the line started moving again. Officer Martinez, sorry about that. Some people just can't handle being told no. Me, I've never seen anything like that horn thing before. Officer Martinez, oh, I have. It's like a toddler throwing a tantrum, except they're in a 2-ton vehicle. The rest of the day went smoothly, and several customers who witnessed the whole thing left us positive reviews online, praising how we handled the situation. One even said we deserved a raise for dealing with that crazy horn lady. I still work at Sudsy Joe's, and we haven't seen Karen since. Sometimes when the line gets long, regular customers joke about calling the horn lady to come clear it out. At least we can all laugh about it now. Story 3. I've worked at Sweet Dreams Bakery for almost 2 years now, and I thought I'd seen every type of difficult customer. Boy, was I wrong. What happened last Tuesday still has me shaking my head. Let me give you some background first. I started working here right after high school because I needed a job and they were hiring. The owner is this really sweet older lady who taught me everything about decorating cakes and dealing with customers. She always tells us to go above and beyond to make people happy, even when they're being unreasonable. The bakery has been in our town for over 20 years and has a great reputation. We do a lot of custom birthday cakes, especially on weekends. People usually come in a few days ahead to place their orders, fill out a form with all the details, and then pick up their cake on the day they need it. Pretty standard stuff. So last Monday, this woman came in around lunchtime to order a birthday cake for her daughter. She seemed normal enough at first, just another mom planning a party. Karen, I need a birthday cake for my daughter's party tomorrow. Chocolate cake with vanilla frosting. Me, absolutely. We can do that. What size would you like, and what would you like written on it? Karen, medium size should be fine. And I wanted to say happy birthday and then my daughter's name. I grabbed our order form and started filling it out. Me, perfect. And what's your daughter's name? She grabbed the pen from my hand and scribbled something on the form. Karen, there. Make sure you spell it exactly like that. I looked at what she wrote, and honestly, it was pretty messy handwriting. It looked like it could be Kaylee, or maybe Kylie, or even Kylie. The letters were all squished together. Me, I want to make sure I get this right. Is this Kaylee with a K or Y? Karen, just read what I wrote. It's not that complicated. She seemed annoyed that I was asking, so I figured I'd do my best to interpret her handwriting. Looking at it again, the first part definitely looked like K-O-Y, and the ending looked like L-E-E. Me, okay? So chocolate cake with vanilla frosting. Happy birthday, Kaylee. That'll be ready tomorrow by 2 p.m. She paid the deposit and left. I put the order in our system as Kaylee because that seemed like the most logical interpretation of what she'd written. Tuesday afternoon came, and I had just finished putting the final touches on her cake. It looked great, nice smooth vanilla frosting with pink and purple flowers, and Happy Birthday Kaylee written in elegant script across the top. I was actually pretty proud of how it turned out. Right at 2 p.m., she walked in. I brought the cake out from the back, expecting her to be happy with how beautiful it looked. Karen, what is this? Me, it's your daughter's birthday cake. Chocolate with vanilla frosting, just like you ordered. Karen, this is completely wrong. You spelled my daughter's name wrong. I was confused because I was sure I had followed her handwriting as closely as possible. Me, I'm sorry, but I spelled it exactly how you wrote it on the order form. Let me grab that so we can take a look. I pulled out the form with her handwriting on it. Karen, this says Kylie, not Kaylee. How could you mess this up so badly? I looked at the handwriting again, and honestly, it was so sloppy it could have been interpreted several different ways. But now she was claiming it said Kylie. Me, ma'am, I can see how there might be some confusion with the handwriting. I interpreted this as Kaylee, but if it's supposed to be Kylie, we can absolutely remake it for you. It'll just take about an hour. Karen, no, you don't understand. This cake needs to be free because you messed up my daughter's name. This is completely unacceptable. Her party is in 3 hours, and now I have to explain to a bunch of 6-year-olds why their friend's name is wrong on the cake. Me, I understand you're frustrated, but looking at the handwriting on this form, it's really difficult to read clearly. I did my best to interpret what you wrote. Karen, I don't care about your excuses. You should have asked me to clarify if you couldn't read it. Now my daughter's party is ruined, and I'm not paying a cent for this disaster. The owner heard the commotion and came out from the back office. Owner, what seems to be the problem here? Karen, your employee completely butchered my daughter's name on this cake. I wrote it clearly on the form, and somehow she turned Kylie into Kaylee. I want this fixed immediately, and I shouldn't have to pay for your mistake. The owner looked at the form and then at me. Owner, I can see how this handwriting could be misinterpreted. We'll be happy to remake the cake with a correct spelling. Since there was some confusion, we'll rush it and have it ready in 45 minutes instead of an hour. Karen, rush charge. I'm not paying any extra fees for fixing your mistake. Owner, there's no rush charge, ma'am. We'll remake it at the same price. Karen, the same price? No, this should be free. You messed up, so I shouldn't have to pay anything. The owner stayed calm, but I could tell she was getting annoyed. Owner, ma'am, looking at this order form, the handwriting is genuinely difficult to read. Our decorator made a reasonable interpretation based on what was written. We're willing to remake it at no additional cost, but we can't provide it for free. Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm never coming back here, and I'm going to leave reviews everywhere telling people how terrible your customer service is. Owner, I'm sorry you feel that way. Would you like us to remake the cake with the correct spelling, or would you prefer to take your business elsewhere? Karen, fine, remake it. But I want extra decorations to make up for this inconvenience, and I expect it done in 30 minutes, not 45. The owner looked at her for a long moment. Owner, actually, given your attitude and the difficulty of this situation, if we remake this cake, there will be a double charge. That's our policy for customers who are unreasonable about honest mistakes. Karen's mouth dropped open. Karen, you can't charge me double. I'll call the Better Business Bureau. Owner, you're welcome to do that. The cake will cost twice the original price, or you can leave without it. Your choice. Karen stood there for a minute looking like she couldn't believe what was happening. Finally, she threw some cash on the counter. Karen, fine, but this is the last time I'm ever stepping foot in this place. We remade the cake with Kylie spelled correctly, and she came back to pick it up exactly 45 minutes later. She grabbed it without saying a word and stormed out. The best part? Later that week, another customer told us they'd seen her at the party, and apparently the cake looked beautiful. She never did leave any bad reviews that we could find. Story 4. I've been working retail for 4 years now, ever since I graduated high school. Started at a big box store, then moved to this upscale department store downtown because the pay was better and I thought the customers would be more reasonable. Boy, was I wrong about that last part. Working in the women's clothing section taught me that expensive taste doesn't always come with decent behavior, but I genuinely enjoy helping people find clothes that make them feel confident, and most of my regular customers are lovely. It's the entitled ones that make this job challenging. Last Tuesday started like any normal day. I was reorganizing the coat section since we just got our fall inventory in. Designer coats, some priced over $800, mixed with more affordable options. Everything clearly tagged and organized by size and brand. Around noon, this woman walked into my section. Well-dressed, carrying a designer purse, looked like she had money. She went straight to the expensive coat rack and started browsing through the high-end pieces. I approached her after a few minutes to offer assistance. Me, good afternoon. Are you looking for anything specific today? Woman, just browsing. These prices are absolutely outrageous though. Me, we do have some lovely options at different price points if you'd like me to show you around. Woman, I'll let you know if I need help. She had this dismissive tone that immediately put me on edge, but I left her alone. I continued working nearby, folding sweaters and helping other customers. That's when I noticed her acting strange. The woman kept looking around nervously while handling the coats. She'd pick up a coat, examine the price tag, then glance around the store. After about 10 minutes of this behavior, she grabbed a beautiful wool coat, our most expensive one at $950, and walked toward the fitting room. Something felt off, so I kept an eye on the fitting room area. She came out after a few minutes, still carrying the coat, and headed toward the children's section. That was definitely unusual. I followed at a distance and watched her stop at the kids' clearance rack. She grabbed a tiny jacket marked $15.99, looked around again, then did something that made my jaw drop. She started peeling off the price tags. I immediately called for my manager, while keeping the woman in sight. She was actually switching the tags, putting the kids' clearance sticker on the expensive coat and vice versa. The audacity was incredible. My manager arrived just as the woman was heading to the checkout counter, looking pleased with herself. Manager, excuse me, ma'am, could we speak with you for a moment? Woman, I'm in a hurry. I just want to pay for this coat and leave. Manager, we'll need to verify the pricing on that item first. The woman's face went red instantly. Woman, what are you implying? Are you accusing me of something? Manager, we have security cameras throughout the store. We watched you switch price tags between the children's clearance rack and the women's designer section. Woman, that's ridiculous. This coat was marked $15.99 when I picked it up. Manager, ma'am, that's a Burberry wool coat. It's never been priced under $900. Woman, fine, you caught me. But it doesn't matter because I donate to charity all the time. I give away tons of clothes to poor people. I deserve a discount for being such a generous person. The entitlement was staggering. Other customers had stopped to watch the scene unfold. Me, ma'am, that doesn't justify stealing. Woman, I'm not stealing. I'm a valuable customer. Do you know how much money I spend in stores like this? Manager, not in this store, you don't. We're refusing service and you're permanently banned from all our locations. Woman, you can't do that. I'll report you to corporate. I'll tell everyone about your terrible customer service. Security had arrived by this point. The woman was escorted out while still screaming about her charitable donations and how unfairly she was being treated. Manager, can you pull up the security footage and write up an incident report? Me, absolutely. We spent the next hour documenting everything. The cameras had captured the entire tag switching process in perfect detail. The footage was sent to corporate and local police as evidence of attempted theft. The woman tried calling our store later that day, demanding to speak with the general manager about the misunderstanding. When she was told about the permanent ban, she hung up and called back 3 more times with the same result. A week later, she showed up at our sister store across town and tried the exact same scheme with a different expensive coat. Their security recognized her from the bulletin we'd sent out. She was arrested this time and charged with retail theft. Some people really think the rules don't apply to them, but security cameras don't lie and neither do price tags. Story 5. I've been coaching children's gymnastics for 12 years now, and I absolutely love working with kids. There's something magical about watching a 6-year-old finally nail their first cartwheel or seeing the pure joy on their face when they master a new skill. I run classes for different age groups at our local community center, and I'm pretty strict about age limits because safety is my #1 priority. My Tuesday afternoon class is specifically designed for children ages 4 to 8. At that age, kids are still developing their coordination and strength, so we focus on basic movements, flexibility, and building confidence. The equipment is sized appropriately for small bodies. The activities are age-appropriate, and I keep the class size small so I can give each child individual attention. Last Tuesday started like any normal day. I had 7 kids in class, all regulars who'd been coming for months. We were about 20 minutes into our session, working on forward rolls on the padded mats, when the gymnasium door suddenly burst open with a loud bang that echoed through the entire space. In walked this woman, probably in her early 40s, dragging a teenage girl behind her who looked absolutely mortified. The girl had to be at least 15 or 16 years old, which made her more than double the age of some of my students. The kids all stopped what they were doing and stared at the disruption. Some of the younger ones looked scared because the woman had entered so aggressively. Me, excuse me, ma'am. This is a private class in session. Can I help you with something? Karen. Yes, my daughter here wants to join your gymnastics class. We're here to sign her up. I looked at the teenager, who was staring at the floor and clearly wanted to be anywhere else, but there. Me, I'm sorry, but this particular class is for children ages 4 to 8 only. Your daughter would need to join our teen or adult classes. I can give you information about those programs if you're interested. Karen, that's ridiculous. Gymnastics is gymnastics. She can do whatever these little kids are doing. Me, ma'am, it's not about difficulty level. It's about appropriate grouping for safety and developmental reasons. Insurance regulations also require strict age segregation in youth programs. The woman completely ignored what I was saying and started looking around the gym like she was evaluating it. Karen, this looks fine to me. Come on, sweetheart, go join the other kids. She actually started pushing her daughter toward my group of 7-year-olds, who were now huddled together looking confused and uncomfortable. Me, ma'am, I really can't allow that. These children and their parents have paid for a specific class structure. Your daughter needs to be enrolled in an age-appropriate program. Karen, look, I drove 30 minutes to get here, and my daughter is going to participate in this class today, whether you like it or not. At this point, I positioned myself between her and my students because I could see the situation was escalating and I needed to protect the children in my care. Me, I understand you made a trip, but I cannot and will not allow unauthorized participants in my class. It's a liability issue and it's not fair to the enrolled students. Karen, liability. These kids are just tumbling around on mats. It's not rocket science. She started walking toward the exercise area where I had mats laid out for our floor routine practice. I stepped in front of her again. Me, ma'am, please don't enter the exercise area. You're not enrolled in this program and you're disrupting the class. That's when she completely lost it. Karen, get out of my way. My daughter has every right to be here. Before I could react, she grabbed the corner of one of my safety mats and shoved it aside, nearly knocking me over in the process. The mat was positioned to protect kids from hitting the wall during their tumbling passes. Me, ma'am, you just moved safety equipment and physically interfered with class operations. I need you to leave immediately. Karen, I'm not going anywhere until my daughter gets to participate. The children were now visibly upset. 2 of the younger girls had started crying, and the boys were backing away toward the far wall. This woman had completely destroyed the safe, nurturing environment I worked so hard to maintain. Me, kids, please sit on the bleachers for a moment while I handle this situation. I walked over to the emergency phone on the wall and called the front desk. Me, this is the gymnastics instructor in Gym B. I need security down here immediately. I have an aggressive parent disrupting class and refusing to leave. Karen, security? Are you kidding me? I haven't done anything wrong. Me, ma'am, you physically moved safety equipment and refused multiple requests to leave a private class. That's trespassing and disruption of business operations. The front desk staff arrived within 2 minutes, followed shortly by the community center director. Karen immediately started yelling at them about how unfair the age restrictions were and how I was discriminating against her daughter. Director, ma'am, our age-based class structure is clearly outlined in our program brochure and on our website. Did you register your daughter for any classes? Karen, no, but that shouldn't matter. She should be able to join any class she wants. Director, I'm afraid that's not how our programs work. We're going to have to ask you to leave the premises. Karen, this is discrimination. I'm calling my lawyer. I'm calling the Better Business Bureau. She was screaming now, and her poor daughter looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor. The kids on the bleachers were completely traumatized. Security, ma'am, if you don't leave voluntarily, we'll have to call the police. Karen, fine, call them. I haven't done anything illegal. So they did. 2 officers arrived about 10 minutes later, during which time Karen continued her tirade about how the community center was run by incompetent people who didn't understand customer service. Officer 1, what's the situation here? The director explained the disruption, and I described how she had physically moved the safety mat and refused to leave after multiple requests. Officer 2, ma'am, is this accurate? Karen, I barely touched that stupid mat. And this is a public facility funded by taxpayers. My daughter should be able to use any program offered here. Officer 1, it may be a public facility, ma'am, but these are organized programs with specific enrollment requirements. When you refuse to leave after being asked multiple times, that becomes trespassing. Karen, trespassing. This is insane. I was just trying to get my daughter into a gymnastics class. Officer 2, ma'am, you also physically interfered with safety equipment, which the instructor says is a liability concern. The officers spent a few more minutes getting statements from me and the director. Meanwhile, Karen's daughter had moved as far away from her mother as possible and looked absolutely humiliated. Officer 1, "Ma'am, we're going to have to cite you for disorderly conduct and trespassing. You'll need to leave the premises immediately." Karen, "What? You can't be serious." Officer 2, "We are serious, ma'am. Your behavior has disrupted a children's program and made multiple people feel unsafe." As they were writing up the citation, Karen launched into another screaming fit about how everyone was against her and how she was going to sue everyone involved. Her daughter actually walked over to me. "Daughter, I'm really sorry about my mom. I never wanted to join your class anyway. I don't even like gymnastics." Me, "It's okay, sweetheart. None of this is your fault." The officers escorted Karen out while she continued yelling threats about lawsuits and complaints. Her daughter followed quietly behind, looking relieved to finally be leaving. After they left, it took me another 20 minutes to calm down my students and get them refocused on gymnastics. Several parents arrived early for pickup because word had spread about the disruption. The real kicker came 2 weeks later when I got a call from the community center director. Apparently, Karen had filed a formal complaint claiming that I had discriminated against her daughter and that the age restrictions were unfair. The director had to explain to her that age-appropriate programming is standard practice in youth athletics and that her disorderly conduct citation was still pending in municipal court. She never did sign her daughter up for the appropriate teen class, and I never saw either of them again. Sometimes I wonder if that poor girl ever got to try activities she actually wanted to do, instead of being dragged into situations that embarrassed her.